All right, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. We've got a great webinar planned for everyone to talk about ways to shift your fleet technology into Overdrive. We'll do a couple quick introductions, and then we'll get rolling on the process. First and foremost, please ask questions. Use the chat box. Myself and Andrew will see those, and we'll definitely take some time post-webinar and answer those questions. If there's anything a little bit more detailed or complex, we'll definitely reach out afterwards as well. My name's Aaron Hannell. I'm the Vice President of Sales here at TapGoods, and I'm lucky enough to be joined by our partner from Samsara, Andrew, and I'll let him introduce himself.
Hey everybody, I'm Andrew Chastain from Samsara. I'm based out of Atlanta, Georgia, and I work on the partnerships team here, which we work with over 200 integrated software vendors and OEMs and to help bring a whole ecosystem of solutions together with Samsara.
Awesome, Andrew, and thank you for taking some time to join us today and educate TapGoods users and customers on how GPS and telematics can help their rental management business. Really excited to share our objectives with everyone today. And you can see those really precise objectives of making sure that you have all the correct items in inventory on your deliveries. We'll make sure that you're routing your vehicles most efficiently, whether it's avoiding tolls or avoiding high traffic routes. That is definitely a major focus within the routing software. We also want to talk about minimize risk, which our partner Samsara can definitely assist with, and we'll give Andrew some time to go more in depth on that. And then, the biggest thing I think we all do on a daily basis is consistently learn and make changes as necessary and as appropriate. So this is extremely beneficial that we've got a great partner like Samsara, and looking forward to sharing more of the benefits with everyone. Our agenda today, really there's thousands of things that you could be focused on. Today, our two organizations will show you ways to improve your delivery process, improve communication with your teams and your customers, increase efficiency, and really promote safety. After a couple quick slides, we'll jump both into TapGoods and Samsara to give you clear visibility into each product and how they intertwine and work together. Again, please feel free to add questions into the chat. At the conclusion of the demonstrations, we'll take time to answer those questions for you. And if it's something that's in depth, like I said earlier, we'll reach out in a one-on-one basis. As far as TapGoods goes, right, it's really having the right software is extremely important for you and your business. Your software partner should provide you with modern, easy to use, and a robust solution that can minimize time spent on day-to-day tasks. It should also allow you to focus on growing your business, creating a great customer experience, and ultimately helping you increase your business revenue. And all of this should be accomplished anywhere, anytime, on any device. So whether you're on a beach in Hawaii enjoying that first vacation in years, or you're in the mountains of Colorado enjoying some time with your friends and family, you should be able to access everything that is in your system. Andrew?
Awesome, thanks, Aaron. Samsara is a publicly traded company. You can find us under the listing of IoT. We're here to be the system of record to transform operations across industries. So without throwing too many buzzwords at you, we have amassed tens of thousands of customers across different global geographies and multiple different industries. So anyone that has assets that they need to track or think they need to make safer for the employees, we work in those fields. We have well over 1 million IoT devices in the field actively running at this second, which provide trillions of data points to us and petabytes of data transmitted over cellular networks alone. And we try to maintain a very high feature velocity with 50 plus new features each quarter. We're a completely SaaS-based organization. So if we don't continue providing high value and the best product on the market, we don't continue to get paid. So we're here to earn your business over and over again. A quick overview of how Samsara works. So there's, as the system of record for operational technology, we're pulling in data from multiple different places. We're mostly going to focus on hardware today, but we can also get data directly from many of our OEM partners, as well as our integrated software partners as well. And all that data is yours as the customer to do with as you please. Some of the hardware that we have are multiple different asset gateways, which can bring in powered and unpowered pieces of equipment, whether it's battery powered or more advanced, you want to know what the utilization is, or a full suite of sensors and data from CAN bus networks. We also have site gateways, which have AI chips on board to turn your existing site infrastructure into something you can look at, basically a smart system without having to buy new cameras. Primarily, we focus today on working with TapGoods with the vehicle gateway, which is really the bread and butter that Samsara uses, which is a device that connects to the cloud and aggregates vehicle data, our suite of sensors, external data points, vehicle data points, GPS, accelerometers, and more, as well as AI dash cams, and all aggregates that into a single pane of glass with only a very simple structure to bring that on board. Next slide, please. From a hardware perspective, diving in a little deeper is what we looked at. There's a number of equipment monitoring options between the AG51 and the AG26, as well as a front-facing only and a front and rear-facing AI dashcam, which we'll go into in depth later in the presentation. The vehicle gateway itself is the core of the heart of the system, with the dashcams plugging in via USB, a suite of hardwired sensors like panic and privacy buttons, engine immobilizers where we can keep the ignition from being started remotely, as well as wireless sensors that work over Bluetooth and communicate back to the gateways. Next slide. And kind of thinking through this as a lot of information we're throwing at you all at once. There's hardware, there's software partners. This is fairly common in today's world. Most of our large customers have 5+ integrations active at any time, plus their own internal systems that they're using data from Samsara or TapGoods to make the best decisions with and aggregate all these. Commercial drivers today have to use well upwards of 10 to 15 apps at any given time, and it's becoming a very technically complicated job very quickly. So Samsara wants to work to make this the best possible, whether that's working with TapGoods to eliminate paper forms and move everything digital, which is just better for everyone, the customer, your employees, et cetera. Compliance with the government. There's a number of things we'll show you which locations very simply can be used and is just a huge delighter for your customers. Utilization, knowing when and where and how much your assets are being used and if they're costing you money or making you money. Staying ahead of maintenance is extremely important in today's very tightly driven economy. Knowing how much fuel you're using and how you can best utilize it. And then the hottest topic for everyone, I'm sure, is safety, which is we're all humans here, and that's the name of the game, is making sure that everyone comes home safely at night and has the best experience possible.
Awesome, Andrew, and thanks for that. Team, again, please don't hesitate on dropping some questions into the chat. If anything kind of sparked your interest or perked your ears up a little bit, please go ahead and drop those in, and Andrew and I will be fielding those at the end of the demonstrations. So now you should see on your screen TapGoods dashboard, and this is what everyone sees when you log into TapGoods. So to just give you a quick lay of the land, whether you're a single location operator or you operate in multiple locations throughout the US or Canada, TapGoods is here to serve you. Just to show you really quickly, if I were a multi-location operator, I have the ability to see my different locations or even consolidate this down to all locations in one view. But from here as an operator, you'd be able to see critical information and take appropriate action as needed. So I can see everything from leads, quotes, reservations. I can also filter by a date range. And then I can see more activities down here at the bottom as well. For today's purposes, I've actually created this order. And the great thing is, throughout the entire order process, you and your team have the ability to stay connected to this order, whether it's last minute changes in inventory items that you can see down here at the bottom. You have the ability to see all the order information, start date, end time, contact information, delivery address. For today's example, we're delivering these items to Perez Park. You can see the drop-off time. You can see right now that no truck is assigned. I can even see the pickup time as well. From the pick list tab here in TapGoods, I can see that this has been converted to a reservation. I have the ability to change the status of this order from everything's either reserved, on the dock, in containers, or at the end, you'll even be able to mark everything delivered and signed for. Again, based off of user role, will determine what your end users see within the system. If I wanted to, I can say as a warehouse manager, I could come in and actually sign that this order has been in fact loaded on a truck, and I'm signing off that all the inventory and proper information is associated with that. And all of that is date and time stamped right here on the order. Oops, sorry. The connection or gateway from TapGoods to Samsara is super easy to find. You actually just come here to operations, click on GPS. And if you're already using Samsara, you would simply go into your Samsara app, click on settings, click on API tokens in the developer settings, click on add an API token, at which point you would get this API token, you would plug that in, and you can see I've got 4 devices connected. Now, unfortunately, I don't have any live delivery trucks out on route today. So as I'm showing you the interactive map, just imagine your trucks being routed and delivered as you can see that live. Right from the operations calendar, you have a lot of different options here. You can see drop-offs, pickups for any of the businesses out there today that are doing recurring services. You even have the ability to see what days those recurring services take place. Again, giving your operations team, your dispatch team, clear visibility into the actions that need to be taken each day. Now I can come in here on a specific date, see what information or what trucks are unassigned. I can see what trucks and orders have been assigned. I'm just going to click into the order that I've created. Again, ensuring clear communication and that accurate items and quantities are attached. You can always see here what items and the quantities attached on there. You have the ability to assign a truck. Once I do that, it's going to go ahead and assign this truck to this specific order. I can see Richard is my driver. I can even come in and add delivery team members that might need or might be needed to help with this order. There we go. Once the truck has been assigned, right within TapGoods, we can create a turn-by-turn navigation for your drivers. The great thing is I had mentioned earlier, TapGoods is completely browser agnostic. So whether your team is on Safari, using a Droid, or any other mobile device, they're going to have access to these turn-by-turn directions. And as I had mentioned before, imagine this truck showing on your screen as it navigates from Fort Worth over to Richardson, making it really easy to help estimate the time of arrival. And a bit of functionality that's coming, the TapGoods team is developing, is the ability within the integration to, if you choose, be able to text your clients on their delivery time. So a lot of robust, simple functionality in here that really helps improve the overall communication with your prospects or customers. Lastly, one of the objectives today was really to ensure that you've got the right information and you're protecting the business. So right within the TapGoods app, your driver team or warehouse team on site can come in and capture a customer signature that your items have been delivered, and even take a photo of those items once they've been set up or set aside in an appropriate place. So you can see here, I would just select all delivered, update all, and that would place all of that inventory at my location. Really, that's what I wanted to show for the TapGoods product today. I want to go ahead and turn it over to Andrew now and have him share the processes within Samsara. Andrew, over to you.
Awesome. Thanks, Aaron. Right. Cool. So today, primarily, we're going to be using a set of live customer dashboards that have given us permission to show their data. We're using Dallas as well, but a food delivery company out of the Texas area. And you can come through here and see on the left side of the page a lot of different things. And we're only going to go over a few of these, but happy to send more information later if you reach out to find more information. But there's a full suite of real-time alerting, messaging. We'll go through some of these like assets, proximity. Toward the end of the presentation, we'll go over safety, which I believe many people here will have a lot of good questions about. Maintenance, fuel and energy, a full suite of reporting, and a lot more information. But to start off with, we'll just click into one driver who's actively engaged here and has a camera. You can see that there's a snapshot here of every, I believe, 20 seconds now that shows you where the driver and the general road conditions they're experiencing. While the vehicle's moving, we're recording full time, and we'll get into more of how we make that a manageable coaching and exoneration system later in the presentation. But you can see more about this Freightliner M2 here. You can see a full set of diagnostics from the engine itself coming in as they're needed. If there were faults, there are faults. So there's faults that need to be addressed here. Alerts can be set up for these, and it's a good way to stay ahead of preventative maintenance in the system. You can also show real time. This driver looks like he just stopped, but you can see real time where the drivers are and what type of conditions they're facing here. While we're on this page, one other feature which I believe would be very useful for you is that Uber and Amazon and companies like them have created a very fast, responsive demand amongst customers across all industries. You have the ability to generate a expiring link for assets within Samsara, and it's as easy as clicking share and picking when you want this link to expire, and you can email a URL to a customer. Here's one that I previously made, but for the same truck. As you can see, the customer would then see this powered by Samsara, and they can see when their delivery is on their way. So it's 7:45 a.m. They're waiting for their 8 a.m. delivery. They're freaking out because their temps aren't there. You can send them this information, and they'll be like, "Oh, it's only a couple blocks away. Everything's great." Beyond that, there's a full suite of reports and built-in diagnostics within Samsara, as well as custom report builders. So an example of a built-in one that you could use is this plan versus actual report. So you can compare your routes to how much time they're taking versus how much time they should take. In this case, this customer is doing an excellent job in optimizing their routes and making their deliveries great, with the exception of a few however you want to look at drivers or vehicles and chop up that data, which is likely not the driver's fault, but should be looked at and optimized over time. Another very useful feature we'll look at today is proximity search. Very simple, novel idea, but very effective, where someone calls in and says, "Hey, your driver was driving 500 miles an hour down I-23. He's almost ran me over. Saw your logo. I'm really mad." Like, okay, we'll take a look at it and possibly get back to you. You can pick any GPS point or type in any point into the assets, but I'm going to pick one that's pre-saved here. Give this a second. So you can see that between the timeframes that I selected, there were a number of drivers that passed this point. We could dive into this further around time when the reported event happened, but in this case, we'll just pick on this driver. We can go ahead and be taken to the page to pull the video from the driver's dash cams, or we can look at the trips, which is generally sufficient. So you can see the trip for the day around this time frame that the driver took. You can understand and play back through the route and get a rough feel for what happened here. And I gotta move my zoom window out of the way. As well as really quickly just come up here and look at the speed. So you can see this driver, he might have been speeding by 5-6 miles per hour, but he's clearly no speed demon here. So Jose's doing a great job, and you can validate that your driver was not being a public safety hazard. All right. We talked a little bit before about preventative maintenance, and in today's world, if a asset is down, it's costing you money across the board, not just the cost to repair the asset. So staying ahead of that is key. So whether that's setting alerts for faults on your vehicles themselves from the engine information, you can set rolling maintenance intervals that you can interact with and resolve and maintain within Samsara. So you know that your vehicles are all serviced and ready to go without having to use paper forms or go out and just check odometers every so often. While we're on the topic of saving money, which is top of mind for everyone in today's global economy with vastly different fuel and energy costs, understanding which vehicles are making you the most money and understanding how much energy you're using on those and carbon emissions as well. You can come and look at cross time ranges at your entire fleet, segregate those by fuel, plug-in hybrid, or electric. A large initiative for Samsara is especially for short haul vehicles. Electric vehicles are poised to be a high value for customers. So there's a lot of tools within here to right size your fleets and to make sure you're selecting the right vehicles to transition over to electric if you so choose. But in the case of looking at fuel, you can just come and triage very quickly what vehicles are costing you the most money based on how far they're going and the fuel they use, et cetera, as well as compare individual vehicles. If you have a fleet of several of the same type of vehicle versus another, you can understand which vehicles are being the most efficient for you. A really low-hanging way to save a lot of money on fuel is idling. Optimizing idling times and understanding which drivers and which routes are causing the most idling. Larger customers have saved 8 figures worth of fuel costs annually by just understanding that the engines don't need to be on for many minutes at a time. So you can really get a feel over time and get reports that are automated or sent to you, or download CSVs and chop these up however you'd like to optimize idling and save a ton of fuel. All right, I know that's a lot of information thrown at you, but we're getting to the fun part now, which is safety. Safety is everyone's job, and a quote I really like is that you never want to have to fire a great worker, technician, delivery person, et cetera, because they're a bad driver. So being able to both exonerate them in the case that there was a claim that they did something, caused an accident, or just be able to train and coach them and keep them safe so they come home safely at the end of the day is a huge deal for many customers and should be for every customer. Within Samsara, the safety overview gives you a full suite of pre-calculated information based on the AI dash cams, telematics and GPS from the device, accelerometers, braking and throttle stats, and it's all rolled into a safety score, which you can get more information on at the top, or I can happy to send you more of that later on. Many companies gamify this to reward drivers that are doing well, and there's plenty of reports our marketing teams put together that shows massive increases in safe driving behaviors and decreased costs for litigation from these systems. Going into these a little deeper, excuse me, the system's recording while the vehicle's moving on a trip, but no one has time to go back through and just watch someone's video, even if you know they're a bad driver, or even if you know they're a good driver. The system automatically detects through AI a series of events that you select and rate, and then uploads these automatically to the cloud. And then whoever's in charge of managing safety can triage these, determine these aren't an issue, these are an issue, coach people, train them, as well as the system itself has an onboard microphone that can nudge or train, alert people to active events that are happening. Another cool feature while we're on the topic of cameras, each system is included with 5 minutes per month of live streaming. You can actually jump into the cab through camera and talk to the driver through the camera system if you choose to have that turned on as a feature. And it will alert the driver very loudly that someone has joined basically to ride along to maintain all privacy transparency. These are some pre-recorded clips that have happened, but can give you a general idea of the things that you'd see from the system. Here we have a front-end driver-facing camera, and you can just see here that very simple training behavior, but driver roll through to a stop. This is fairly common, but could cause issues for the company. And you can see here speed, accelerator, brake, and cruise control status as well. And more often than not, the system's used for driver exoneration. Drivers today are very professional and excellent at their job, but anytime there's an incident, the first thing someone's going to tell anyone that came to the scene of the accident was it wasn't their fault, and it was the large vehicle that smashed into them. This comes up time and time again, but as you can see in this video, which is a little jarring, that this was clearly not the driver's fault, and that anyone who came to report on this accident would clearly agree, and then that would be the end of that versus having large litigation expenses, etc. Generally, after one or so of these incidents are exonerated from a driver, the entire team is well on board with having at least front-facing cameras, if not front and rear. Here's one more I love to show. Juan here is just going about his day when another truck decides that his lane is his, and Juan is not very happy. But as you can see here, not Juan's fault. The last piece I would like to touch on is a relatively new product from Samsara. It was released, I believe, about a year ago. It's our camera connector product. So here you can see the 2 cameras provided by Samsara, but then third-party cameras oriented around the vehicle to give a 360 view. The use cases here are infinite, whether it's knowing that a certain thing happened outside the cab, or seeing behind you, or seeing directly behind you, or providing even monitors inside the cab that some of our partners provide. This has become a very fast, very hot item that a lot of people are implementing into their system. And nothing exciting here to see, just to give you a preview of that you can have cameras 360 degrees around vehicles, whether they're just for driver safety or for things that may happen around the vehicle itself. Awesome. That's all I have. I'll pass back to Aaron.
Awesome. Thank you very much for that, Andrew. There have been a couple questions that have come up through the chat, so we'll definitely jump into those right now. Kim asked a question, are these separate subscriptions, and do they come with the TapGoods Select and Premier tiers only? To access Samsara, you do have to have a subscription with Samsara. And we can talk quickly about how to go about requesting more information on that. And then from the TapGoods side, they do integrate with the Select and Premier tier. Great question, Kim. Andrew, do you want to just briefly touch on the sign up and evaluation process for Samsara? You're on mute, Andrew, sorry.
Thanks, I accidentally muted and I couldn't undo it. Yeah, absolutely. So Samsara is primarily a subscription-based system. So there's no hardware cost unless you need auxiliary cables or something, some strange type of orientation. But 99% of what we do is subscription-based. So it's a device-based service. So the vehicle gateway has a subscription and the camera does. So for one vehicle, you would have those 2 subscriptions rolled into one, but that would include everything. The SIM cards and all the cellular, all the stack of the cloud, all the access, the alerts, the messaging system. You don't have to think about that. And it's unlimited users in the system. So the only thing you have to think about is how many devices you have from Samsara. And typically that's on a 3-year contract billed annually. There are other options as well, but that's the most popular. And also at the end of a period, depending how your contract's structured, you'll always have the best technology at the best time. So our equipment's set up such that after a certain amount of time, if you want the newest and greatest piece of equipment, then you get it, because we are a subscription service. We're not selling hardware. Like what just happened with 3G systems going offline, becoming 4G, we'll always have the best system for the job available to you, and you won't have to think about paying for new hardware.
Awesome. Thank you, Andrew. One of the other questions that came through is the texting feature available in the relationship today? And as of this very moment, it is not. It is something that we have under development and anticipate releasing here very soon, which would give you the ability to toggle on or off texting and alert your customers when their delivery is within a specific time range. Another question came in, Andrew, that this one might be a little bit of a guess, but you could probably provide some insight to it, is which Samsara devices would you recommend for somebody who is just starting out using the software? So to give you a little bit of info, I would probably say think 3 to 5 delivery trucks doing, anywhere between 8 and 10 orders per week. What would you recommend be the best solution for them?
Definitely, that's a great question. What I would start with to look at initially, and definitely reach out and talk to a salesperson because they can really understand what your business needs. But off the top of my head, the VG54 is the vehicle gateway current model. And then you would just have to pick between a CM31 and a CM32. So if you just want front-facing cameras or front and driver-facing, that's really the only 3 things you got to decide between. So a VG plus one of the cameras. I would start with the VG54 plus a CM32. The CM32 just mounts to your windshield, plugs in via a USB cable, and then the VG just plugs straight into the OBD or CAN bus port, and you're off to the races. It's really easy.
Awesome. Thank you. And I can attest to someone that during the partnership evaluation, I actually hooked up Samsara to my personal truck. It's literally plug and play. So for the TapGoods customers out there, if I can figure it out, trust me, anyone else on your team can as well. One other question I think, Andrew, that would really pertain to you is, can I have different benchmarks and data points for the different kinds of vehicles I have? So imagine someone has a box truck and a pickup truck that they use for delivery. Is there different data points or information benchmarking that can be done?
Great question. Absolutely. So there's a number of ways to slice and dice data within the platform, as well as export it through CSV or API to do your own custom reporting. But within Samsara, we have a concept of what's called a tag. And then you can have tags, they can be organized however you want, under manager, region, store, person, or in your case, type of assets. You could have box trucks as one tag, regular pickup trucks as another, and then just clicking off and on one device, you can see all of those devices grouped together.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you for that. Looks like we just had one more chat come in, and I think it's a relatively easy one, Andrew, is can you use one token for multiple vehicles or devices? Meaning I've got 5 trucks. Do I have to get 5 different tokens to integrate with the partnership?
Great question. Also, you can use as many or as few API tokens as you want, but typically the way most people do this is they generate one API token for one integration. So for TapGoods as a whole, it's really simple. You just go to your settings page, generate an API token, call it TapGoods integration, and select which permissions you would want, whether it's read, write, and you can also use those tags to segregate which access that each partner would have, and then hit generate. And then you could use that one token for everything, which isn't the best practice. But the most common practice is one token per active integration. So 1,000 vehicles going through the one token to TapGoods will be fine.
Awesome. Thank you for that. And Kathleen actually just chatted in one more time. She asked, can I show again how to link Samsara to TapGoods? There's 2 parts to that, Kathleen, and I'll show you the piece here. So you'll come to operations, GPS, which then brings you to this Samsara screen, and you will drop in your token here. Now, we do need to activate the GPS functionality on your subscription. So if you don't mind dropping your email and phone number into the chat, I can have a relationship manager or a support manager reach out and help you with that. From the Samsara side, you'll click on your settings, click on API tokens in the developer settings, and then you'll click on add an API token. We can send that information over to you as well, Kathleen. Awesome. And looks like that's about it. So first and foremost, want to thank everybody for taking some time to join this webinar. Hopefully you learned, different things of how you can operate more effectively how you can improve communication, improve safety, and improve overall routing. Andrew and I are available for questions on the PowerPoint. I'll pull it back up really quick. Sorry. There are a couple QR codes that you can scan that will drop in to the TapGoods and Samsara process. Let me pull those up. I'm sorry here. Perfect. So whether your questions are for Samsara or TapGoods, feel free to scan those QR codes. And Kathleen will definitely be in touch. I just got your information. So thank you. Awesome, everybody. Well, Andrew and Samsara team, thank you so much for joining. It's been awesome working with you, and we look forward to the continued partnership.
Thanks, sir. Thanks, everybody who showed up.
Thanks, y'all. Bye now.